Women never lie when it comes to cheating, infidelity in their relationship. How to be a man who can never ever be cheated on, or how to be a man who can never be manipulated. Then there is this 4A rule of mine that you should follow. Now you must be wondering that what is Neeti saying? Well, I am going to be psychologically decoding this for you, because over a decade there have been researches where it's been backed very, very clearly that the percentage of women as compared to the percentage of men, well, women cheat more in a relationship. Now, here's the thing. As a man, if you work on your sixth sense, okay, you go by your instinct and you go by your gut feeling, then you will always see that there are negative traits which we call red flags, is what women will always show in a very subtle way, in their actions, in their behavioral pattern, in the way they respond to you. Now, it's entirely up to a man how quickly he notices it and he nips it at the bud. Women, they sometimes, and most of the times, they don't really cheat a man who has toxic masculinity. Now, you're going to be saying that, so does that mean that everybody has to be toxic? No, I'm not saying that. But in most of the cases, when you look around and you see whether it's a woman who is before marriage or after marriage lands up in infidelity, she would always be with a guy who makes it very, very clear that, you know, these are my boundaries and this is how much I'm going to give you in a short-term casual sexual hookup, and this is what I expect out of you, and I will not take your tantrums. So basically, toxic masculinity is all about the guy laying down his intentions very straight and very clear that I'm not going to be taking your tantrums and I'm not going to be spending too much time as far as your emotional upheavals and ups and downs are concerned, and please do not have too much of expectations. And so women tend to get drawn towards these kind of men. Now, what happens is when I say that a man is less masculine, and women tend to cheat over a partner who has less masculinity. Now, let's put it this way. Men who in general are, passive, they're naive, and they're people pleaser, they're soft, and they find it very difficult to assert their boundaries, to assert certain likes and dislikes of theirs in the relationship in front of a woman. That is the time the man comes across as somebody who is less masculine. Men who lack masculinity, they basically practice something called ostrich mentality. Now, what is this exactly? Well, when you turn your face away from a situation thinking that, that situation has disappeared, it's more like, closing your eyes and turning towards the wall and thinking that, something that I'm scared of has gone away, has disappeared, has vanished. That is what is called ostrich mentality. In this case also, what tends to happen is that a woman realizes that the man only wants to hear what he wants to hear, and he wants to see only what he wants to see. He basically believes what he wants to believe. He listens to what he really wants to listen, okay? He doesn't delve deeper into any of the situation when it comes to, is her action matching the words that she is actually saying, because she comes up with different stories at all times. But because he's not able to assert boundaries, what he does is he only listens to the things that he really wants to listen to put him in that comfort zone that, everything is all right and she is fine and she is not cheating and she is completely loyal. Now, these kind of men are not bad people. They really treat the women well, like a queen. But what happens is that with women, when they see that the man has absolutely no respect to himself, as soon as a woman senses that this guy is not protective, this guy is not possessive, also this guy is more about appeal and less about respect. What do I mean by that? A guy who is always chasing appeal is a guy who's always chasing external validation. And a guy who's always chasing respect is self-assured, a man who is very strong in his belief system, a man who holds the ground, and a man who is very clear about his emotional foundation. And this man knows that what is required to build a happy, healthy, strong, trusting relationship. So when a woman sees that a man lacks masculinity and all these other qualities, she tends to get drifted towards, infidelity. Now, my part 2 is all about how to be a man who can never ever be cheated on, or how to be a man who can never be manipulated. Always spend more time with a girl and get to know her really well, understand how her equation has been with her family, her sibling, her friends, her co-workers, how her growing years have been, also how her equation has been with her ex-boyfriends as well. What tends to happen is that you get to know a lot about the behavioral patterns, the traits, and also her value system. And that determines the cheating patterns, the infidelity patterns, and also to what extent the woman's going to be loyal and committed to you. The woman's value system clearly states that there are unmet and unfulfilled desires, which means that in her growing up years, maybe she's not got that much of love, let's say from her father specifically, as a man figure. You know, it's different when fathers are there providing you with everything, and it's different when the father really sits down with you, takes interest in what you're doing, also expresses his love by just saying simple things like, I'm proud of you and I love you. So if she's not got that and she's been neglected, or in her growing up years, if this kind of woman has been someone who has constantly made new friends but has left her old friends behind, she's never got true friendship, for that matter in her ex relationships also, if she has not got the kind of love that she really wanted, maybe because she was chasing new relationships at all times. So these are certain patterns that you get to know and you get to see. Now, there are women for whom money is a priority. So as long as money is there in the relationship, well, she's there to stick around. For some women, physical intimacy is more important. So this kind of woman would always be bedding or will be in a physical intimate relationship with other men besides her own man. So basically the desire to be with someone who she's attracted to is definitely higher as compared to the desire to be in a monogamous relationship with her partner. Well, this kind of woman is clearly someone who is driven towards taking a risk. And by taking a risk, I mean that she would not give value to the commitment. She would not give value to the loyalty a relationship requires. And so what tends to happen is that she would always cross her boundary and she would always want to take that kind of a risk. In our country, when we're getting married or when we are in a relationship, it's not just the man or the woman we're in a relationship with. We basically marry the entire family. And once you have kids, it's not easy to break the relationship, even if your partner is cheating behind your back. And for that matter, for example, even if you are in a long-term steady relationship, even if you're dating for a number of years, 2 questions I always ask all my male clients, okay? And this is something that I'm going to tell you also for you to understand this video in a better way. Number 1, if you are in a relationship where there is no chemistry, there is no understanding, there is no feeling, there is no communication, there is no physical intimacy, but you're there because obviously you're answerable to the family, you have kids, and you have to put everything in perspective, you have to think about everyone and move on. So it's pretty much like being there together because you're supporting your kids and your family. On the other hand, if you have a situation where you are with a partner for a very long time, again, there is no understanding, there is no feelings, there is no physical intimacy, and there is basically no connection also. But if the partner continues to sleep around, if the partner continues to land up in infidelity, then that is your biggest cue to put your foot down and end the relationship. I know it's hard, it's not easy, but this is the healthiest way to move forward. Now, coming back to how to become a man who can never be cheated on, if you have understood these certain traits and patterns and a negative rhythm to a woman's cheating behavior, then there is this 4A rule of mine that you should follow. Now listen to it very carefully, okay? There are 4 A's. A stands for attraction, A stands for authenticity, A stands for attachment, and A stands for admiration, okay? Number 1, A stands for attraction. Now if you're a kind of guy who's always focused on his health, who's always taking care of his physical looks also, then you are always constantly building attraction towards yourself. if you look at yourself in the mirror and you are attracted to yourself, you feel good about yourself, anybody is going to be attracted to you. Number 2, being authentic. If you are a man of your word, and if you're a man who sticks to his word, a man who sticks to his promises, for example, if you promise yourself that you would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning at any cost, then you are, and you're making changes in your sleeping pattern, then you stick to that promise of yours. If you have made some sort of mistake, then you admit it to yourself, I have made this mistake, and it's easy for you to admit it to others also. This is a man of authenticity, okay? And if you are someone who is, who has integrity and authenticity, then you would always be honest to yourself. So if there's something that you don't know, you have half-baked information or half-baked knowledge about something, and at office you have to, let's say, make a presentation. But if you are honest with yourself, you'll be honest with others. I know only this much, maybe someone can help me out. See, these are just basic examples I'm telling you of being authentic. So we've covered attraction, being authentic, and the third is attachment. Now, when you value being honest, when you value authenticity more over being, giving importance to attachment, so what tends to happen is that a man who first shows that this is who I am, these are my traits, and this is what I believe in, the woman would always respect and value that man more, because he has been brave enough to be honest. He has been brave enough to be authentic. And that is the point from where the attachment starts, from the woman's side also. And this could be in your case also. If you come across a woman who is not risk averse, who believes in monogamy, a woman who would never risk her relationship, would always prioritize her partner's feelings, loyalty and commitment, that is the kind of woman who is authentic. So when a person is authentic, it's very easy to build the attachment with that person. And over a period of time, when your attachment is there and your authenticity is there and you're taking care of yourself, so attraction is there, when your first 3 A's are there, then automatically the 4th A, which is admiration, comes in the picture, which is a biggest sign of a happy, healthy, long-term relationship, because you admire each other. You have basically accepted each other through thick and thin. You have also accepted each other's flaws by being authentic, by being strong enough to put your behavioral flaws in front of each other. So when you have authenticity and when you have attachment in a relationship, admiration in the long run always follows. So I hope this video has somewhere helped you, and if you want more information, and if you want more hand holding, if you want to build confidence or your personality or grooming or styling or understand relationships in a better way, please register for my 101 session. The link is in YouTube bio and Instagram bio, and I'm going to see you soon. Ta-da!